On the island of Borneo, nestled in ancient rainforests, there's a kingdom of shimmering mosques, almost hidden from the rest of the world. This is Brunei, the abode of peace. It's ruled by one of the planet's last absolute monarchs, but don't let that image of serenity fool you. It masks an absolutely staggering story of wealth and deep, deep contradictions. And that brings us to the central puzzle of Brunei, and it's all about scale. I mean, how does a country that's barely a speck on the map, smaller than the state of Delaware, generate so much wealth per person that it rivals the world's biggest economic giants? Honestly, it's a real head-scratcher. And that's the question we're diving into. Okay, let's put some numbers to this, because this is where it gets really wild. You're looking at a piece of land that's just over 5,700 square kilometers. Tiny. Yet its GDP per capita is nearly $96,000. That puts it at number 7 in the entire world. This isn't just a success story, it's practically a statistical anomaly, an economic reality built almost entirely on one single thing. You know, the country's full name is Brunei Darussalam, and that last part means abode of peace. And that's not just a name, it's really the whole philosophy of the state. It projects this image of calm, of stability, an image that's made possible by that incredible economic engine working just beneath the surface. So, let's get to it. The story of modern Brunei is written in oil. We're about to uncover the source of this nation's fortune, its empire of black gold. This transformation happened incredibly fast. It started back in 1929 with the first oil strike, just a hint of what was to come. But the real game changer, the moment everything shifted, was in 1957. That's when they started drilling offshore, tapping into these massive reserves. By the 1990s, the deal was sealed. Oil and gas weren't just an industry anymore. They were the very foundation of the entire country. To really get a sense of the scale here, just think about this number: 167,000. That's how many barrels of oil Brunei pulls out of the ground every single day. For a country you could drive across in just a few hours, that kind of output is enormous. It makes them the 4th largest oil producer in all of Southeast Asia, and that's not even counting all the natural gas they export. So, what does all that oil money do for society? Well, when 90% of your economy comes from hydrocarbons, you can build a pretty incredible welfare state. We're talking about a country with no income tax, free healthcare for citizens, subsidized housing and food. It's created this powerful social contract. The state provides for everyone, and in return, you get incredible stability. It's no wonder it ranks very high on the Human Development Index. But here's the twist. The super modern, oil-rich nation is built on some seriously ancient foundations. The monarchy in charge of all this wealth isn't new to the game. Nope. This is a dynasty that has been around for over 600 years, through empire, decline, and an incredible story of survival. And like any ancient kingdom, Brunei has got a great origin story. The legend goes that its founder was exploring the rivers of Borneo, and when he found this perfect peaceful spot, he shouted out Bruna, which basically means there it is, or this is the place. And from that one moment, the kingdom of Brunei supposedly got its name. The empire's history is a real roller coaster. You have this spectacular golden age, when Brunei's influence stretched across most of Borneo. But then European powers start arriving, kicking off a long, slow decline. By 1888, the Sultanate was facing a tough choice: become a British protectorate to survive, or risk disappearing altogether. It was a choice for survival that lasted for almost 100 years, right up until Brunei got its full independence in 1984. So all that history has created a really unique way of life. If you want to understand what it's like to live in Brunei today, you have to get your head around this fascinating blend of tradition, religion, and absolute monarchy that touches every part of daily life. The whole country is guided by a philosophy called Malay Islamic Monarchy, or MIB. Think of it like a 3-legged stool. The first leg is Malay culture. The second is the Islamic faith. And the third is the absolute monarchy, with the Sultan holding the ultimate power. These 3 things are totally intertwined. And that Islamic pillar is absolutely central. Just look at the breakdown here. Over 80% of the population is Muslim, and Sunni Islam is the official state religion. This isn't just a number on a chart. It fundamentally shapes the country's laws, its culture, pretty much everything. This leads to something you don't see in many places: a dual legal system. On one hand, you've got English common law, which is a legacy from its days as a British protectorate. But operating right alongside it, you have Sharia law. And for the Muslim population, Sharia law can actually take precedence in both civil and criminal matters. Now, this dual system really caught the world's attention starting in 2014 with the phased rollout of a new Sharia penal code. The move sparked a lot of international criticism for sure. It is important to note, though, that in 2019, the government made a point of extending a long-running pause on the death penalty to this new code as well. And that brings us to today and a massive question of survival. For a nation that's built its entire modern existence on a resource that won't last forever, what's next? Brunei is at a critical crossroads, and it has to figure out a future that goes beyond oil. So what's the game plan? Well, it's a long-term strategy called Vision 2035, and it's all about diversification. They're doing things like trying to grow their own food, like a special brand of rice. They're looking to boost tourism. I mean, their rainforests are pristine. They're trying to position themselves as a travel hub, and they're even creating a global Brunei halal brand to export goods. And on the world stage, Brunei really lives up to its abode of peace name. It's an active member of groups like ASEAN and the Commonwealth, and its foreign policy is all about quiet diplomacy, stability, and a very strict policy of not interfering in other countries' affairs. And so we end right where we started, with a question. Brunei has performed this incredible balancing act between ancient tradition and modern wealth. But as the world changes and the age of oil slowly starts to fade, the ultimate challenge is right in front of them. Can this kingdom of contrasts build a brand new future while holding on to the very identity that has defined it for centuries?